Hey, all right. We did it.
We're
We're
here.
here. Oh, man, what a day. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. And to the rest of you, welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 356, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm
hmm
Jeff.
And I'm Steve.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek, and I'm super thirsty, so I'm opening my beer
Are you
now.
opening beer already?
All super chats are read on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. The link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
It almost sounds like you said this before. Yeah, at one point in time.
How was
Maybe
that
rehearsed
for...
with it?
Holy crap.
Jeff starts quoting this while he shaves in the morning. He's shampooing his hair. He's saying the same thing.
Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat, it's part of my workout mix.
Yeah, there you go. You're never going to get it wrong.
That's right.
Well, since you already poured, what is it that you poured in, and what is it that you're going to start sipping on?
Alice from over in the UK and a longtime member on the Patreon and Discord server sent me over an Exmoor Gold, the original golden ale.
Oh, nice! All the way from the UK.
Yeah,
it's got a elk on it or something, so you know it's serious, or it's going to taste like elk piss.
Yep. Wivelscombe, Somerset.
Wivelscombe.
Wivelscombe.
I'm a little concerned about that last syllable.
Hold on. Wivelliscombe.
Is that comb?
Wivelscombe?
Wivelscombe?
Wivelscombe.
That sounds better than Wivelscombe.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Also contains barley malt. It says right there.
Oh, well, that's good. That's how you know it's a beer.
To be expected, right?
Now, did you take a sip yet?
I have not.
Okay.
What I can tell you is it is crystal freaking clear.
Oh, there you go.
Like,
all right. Well, then I got so last time I was on, I went very seasonal, and I kind of missed my IPA. So I'm doing two IPAs this time. I have and you're not going to be able to see this because this can is green, and I got the green screen behind me. So if I show this, it's not gonna show up. It's called the Rawaka Mania. You can barely see that because it's green, right?
That's funny.
Ooh, it goes right through my head. So it contains a new hop from New Zealand called Rawaka. So that's what they call it, Rawaka Mania. So I've never had this hop before. Don't know how it tastes. We'll figure it out.
Interesting.
And the second one is very orange. This is from Urban Roots, called Playground Tactics. And it is an extra hazy IPA.
Ooh.
So it's a double IPA, and it says it's hella unfiltered. So it's going to be like, I'm gonna do this one to compete with your crystal clear one.
Yeah.
I'm going the exact opposite.
Okay.
So I'm going to go extra unfiltered and cloudy, while you go extra crisp and clear.
Excellent. Yeah, my second beer, boy, it's going to compete very well with your second beer as well.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I have no idea how to pronounce that city still. Anyway, cheers to you. Cheers to you all out there.
All right, let me try this. Ooh. Yeah, that is very unfiltered.
Wow.
That is like orange juice.
Yeah.
That is
it's orange juice with a head. Yeah.
Oh man. It kind of tastes like orange juice too, to be honest. It's like a Oh man, it's like a grapefruit orange juice mix almost with a really hoppy kick. That is really good. Oh man, that is quite good. Urban Roots, everybody, get this one. That one's phenomenal. Real good. 8.2%.
This is exactly what I would expect a British pub beer to taste like.
Oh yeah.
This is Rainier. This is pub beer. This is
so you go walking into it. Hey, give me a pint, and then that's what they're gonna pour you.
Yeah. Give me a pint. This is your pint.
Yeah.
You ask for a pint, you get this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when you need the fish and chips over there from
little Sandy Am fish and chips.
Sandy Am, yep, some Sandy Am fish and chips, some real traditional UK fish and chips.
See, when I go fish and chips, I usually go Mailbox.
That's a good one too, guys. Extra malty.
Yes.
Yeah, it does pair quite well.
Yeah.
Yes, when I go fish and chips, I go maltier side too.
Yeah, I will either go. I typically don't go golden ale / lager with fish and chips. I usually go either Maibach or I love a good Kolsch with fish and chips.
Kolsch is good too, because the Kolsch kind of has like a slight honey malted flavor to it. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, the only pairing I will say that goes good with like lagers is Mexican food, tacos, burritos, those type of things, like a nice Dos Equis or something like that to go with it. That's the good pairing.
Yeah, to me, lager goes with tacos. That's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's no comparison.
Get a good fish taco on a Tuesday. Oh, yeah. I am there.
Absolutely.
No, this beer, crisp, a little bit dry, wonderfully well-rounded malt. Yeah, I need some chips to go with this.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, fries.
Fries.
I need some big old potato wedges to go with this is what I need. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
All right. Who do we got? We got we said Sam Adams. There's a Lennon-Kugel Summer Shandy.
Yep.
Always a nice one. Wellworks Brewing 4242 double IPA. One of my biggest regrets when I went to Colorado is I was like 20 miles away from Weldworks, and I debated whether I should go or not. And I was running a little late, and I should have went.
You should have went
to Weldworks.
Yeah.
I like Weldworks, but I didn't get to go. Oh well, next time. We also got a Lush IPA from Fremont. I've had that several times. Lush IPA is pretty good. I like it. Boulevard Brewing. Oh, this is the Boulevard Brewing Rum Barrel Aged Spice Cake Brown Ale.
Ooh.
That. Yeah, that's
of course, terrible. That's novella. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, novella. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he never developed not having a sweet tooth. It just evolved into the adult version of having a sweet tooth.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been like, I like pastries. I like donuts in particular. I'm not a huge cake guy. I'm not even a huge ice cream guy. Candy, take it or leave it.
Nah, I'm not a big candy guy.
Yeah.
I'll do donuts, and then if the cake is really, really good, I'll go for the cake. But other than that, not a big dessert guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but pastry stout. I'm on board.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Although if it's a big 22 ounce or even a 16 ounce, I still have to split it. That high ABV, man, trying to finish a 12% or a 13% by yourself. In fact, I did contemplate getting one of those today, but my wife was like, no, I want some of that too. And I'm like, all right, okay, I can't do it.
Well, like I said, my second beer should compete very well.
Okay, all right then. All right, Phase 3 Vivid Light American IPA.
Yeah,
never heard of that one before.
Very nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Fish and Chips IPA. The Most Beautifulest Thing in the World by by Modest Man Brewing. I've never heard of Modest Man Brewing. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
4.2 on Untapped. Sounds good.
Yeah, I've had a Modest Man before.
Oh, have you had?
Yeah. I don't remember which one I had, but I know I've had a Modest Man Brewing before.
Like a modest mouse.
Yeah.
I backed my beer into a cop car the other day.
Yep. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the news.
Let's do it.
This one popped up on my feed sometime just after the show last week, and made me laugh so much that I had to share it here. Specifically because we've been talking about Microsoft wanting to fire back up 3 Mile Island to basically power AI.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking a little bit after that show, like, what would nuclear-powered data centers look like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as it turns out, development is quite far along for micro-sized nuclear reactors. And then I clicked on the news story, and the logo on the side of this threw me for a bit of a loop. See if you have the same reaction here. No,
I already saw this. I didn't read this because the notes came up pretty late, but yeah, I was like, what?
So some of you might recognize this logo. We'll get to that in a second. Micronuclear reactors are being built that can deliver 5 megawatts of power for up to 100 months, producing a staggering 1.2 petawatt hours of energy. The company behind this is Westinghouse.
Yeah.
The same company that builds the Black Friday TVs, microwaves, and toasters for Walmart.
The super cheap electronics and the super cheap stuff that you fill your house with.
72-inch TV for $179. It's a Westinghouse.
They're looking at the future Walmart market for micro nuclear reactors. Yeah. I mean,
that Westinghouse.
I mean, come on. This kind of makes sense. When you have like survivalists and preppers, where do they primarily shop at? I
mean,
they shop at Walmart.
They're not going to Target.
Which is surprising. Reactor, yeah. A nuclear reactor is gonna be sold at Walmart pretty soon. And Prepper's going to be like, you know what? I'm in. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that for my bunker.
Yakto wants to know how long before we can purchase one used on eBay. That is the eternal home lab question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Fantastic question. Yeah. Good news for home data centers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this is a real thing. And it's a real thing that's more real than you might think. Westinghouse eVinci, it's called the eVinci microreactor. They have actually submitted the preliminary safety design report to the Department of Energy. And they're actually the first manufacturer of a micronuclear reactor to provide such documentation, which is one of the first steps toward getting certified to be able to operate or sell these or deploy them or start testing them. That's a pretty big step. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually say that reactors will be ready by early 2030s, with prototypes expected as soon as 2027. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see these in some form of deployment by 2028 as far as small-scale testing goes. This is pretty big news, especially as, you know, things like AI continue to drive up energy demands. You know, being able to spin up a reactor like this and not have to put the infrastructure in place, not have to build plants and hundreds of miles of wiring, not have to put in substations and everything. Just
put it right next to your hot tub. That's fine.
Hey, dual purpose.
Yeah, you can power your hot tub and your small server farm.
Well, that's the thing about nuclear reactors that people don't understand. It's not using nuclear energy to directly,
No,
turning nuclear
no,
energy into
no.
power. It's
still spinning turbines.
It's still spinning turbines. These are
Yeah.
steam engines. Every nuclear or every reactor that humans have ever made is a form of a steam engine.
Yeah, it's just turning something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're using water and using the heat that's generated by the nuclear reaction to spin a turbine using steam from the water, which is then recycled and cooled. And so you're keeping the nuclear fuel cool while also producing enough, kinetic motion to spin it and create electricity. This is really no different than a locomotive, but at the same time, it's completely different, completely, that much more efficient because we're not burning coal to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So...
And you can use the wastewater from this to grow really, really big tomatoes in your home garden. Like they just get huge.
Actually, that's one of the things that nuclear reactors are beyond safe.
No, I know they're way more efficient now.
Yeah, so I love the joke.
Outside of the all Simpsons three-eyed fish joke, yes, they are more safe.
Westinghouse also built the first water turbines at Niagara Falls. I did not know that.
That's a good factoid to know.
Yeah.
It's going to help me with my next game of Trivial Pursuit. Do people still play Trivial Pursuit?
People still do. I think the most recent version I have is like 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little dated.
Maybe we could do that for like a Christmas special show. We'll get like the latest Trivial Pursuit. And
we'll see where we got.
And the four of us will turn it into a drinking game.
Yeah, that's the way you play it. Instead of putting a little triangle in there, you got to take a shot.
Yeah. I will say I did. I have played one game of shot checkers before.
Oh yeah, I did shot chess once.
Yeah.
And actually, funny story. This is gonna go off on a little tangent, but one of the very first time John ever got drunk was by my hand.
I think I've heard this story, but go ahead.
Yeah, so it was shortly after I built my main machine, and so of course once you find a new form of entertainment, one of the first things you do is figure out how to turn it into a drinking game. And so what we did is we used the random game selector built into MAME to randomly select games, and then we'd pour a shot before we randomly select them, and then whoever lost had to take a shot. And so John came over when we were and we started playing this. And his other friend was over there watching us do it. He didn't participate because he was driving.
Yeah,
but he was trying to take John home after this. And John was so far gone, like 15 minutes later, he came back. And he says, "No, you got to take care of your brother. He's like puking in my car. I need to get him out of here." I'm like, all right. So I take him inside. He's sitting in my kitchen sink, just puking into the kitchen sink. He's going, "Oh, I'm never going to drink again. This was terrible." And we know how that turned out.
Why does anyone do this? Yeah. So exciting stuff. A company that I didn't even know was in the energy generation game.
Yeah. I mean, apparently they have been for a long time, but
yeah,
we know them now as they make the cheap stuff for Walmart.
Yeah. See, I think I'm gonna wait for the Durabrand or the RCA nuclear reactor.
The Zenith.
Zenith. Philips Magnavox.
Magnet box.
On to the news that is.
This is the big one.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
This is the very big one. This is the news that basically is going to impact everyone. This is a court fight that is multinational, has far-reaching implications for. Yeah. I don't mean to be hyperbolic about this, but almost everyone on the planet
is got something,
right.
involved with this.
And the problem is, if they're fighting, we both lose.
Yeah.
Zachary says, I jokingly say Daewoo, but they actually do work in nuclear power. I know Daewoo does work in nuclear power. They also, for a long time, they did cars. They've done forklifts and all kinds of things like that. Yeah.
I thought it was Harry Belafonte that did Daewoo.
But Daewoo. But no, Daewoo also had a stint in doing like $7 toasters for Walmart.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, so we are talking ARM versus Qualcomm. And this is an issue that started back in 2022 with Qualcomm's acquisition of Nuvia, which they wanted for intellectual property as part of their chip development for the ARM platform to integrate Nuvia's IP into their ARM chips. Now, for those who don't know, ARM, when did their new management take place? For a while, they were going to be bought out by NVIDIA, and then that got canceled, and then they sold to some other holding group. ARM basically is a CPU design company, and they make the ARM processors.
Yep.
Or they don't make the ARM processors. They design reference documents for the ARM processors, and then they license those instructions and those basic designs out to companies who can then customize them and create their own CPUs under the ARM license. This is how Apple creates their chips. This is how Broadcom creates their chips. This is how Qualcomm creates their chips. This is how Samsung creates their chips. ARM is very widespread and is used by a whole bunch of different companies for a whole bunch of different processes, top to bottom. Now, it used to be that ARM simply designed the references for the ARM processor and the instruction sets to be utilized, but then it was up to you to implement them into your own design and build them as you saw fit. Well, ARM, as of their new holding, they decided they no longer wanted to just be in the licensure business. They wanted to directly manufacture ARM processors. They wanted to directly sell ARM processors. And as such, have been coming up with more and more or disagreeable terms for licensing. At question here is when Qualcomm purchased Nuvia in 2022, apparently that ran afoul of ARM's license requirements for Qualcomm. And this has been in the court since 2022. It's been going back and forth, and we figured someone somewhere would just end up writing a check and this would all go away. Well, as of earlier today, ARM has issued a 60-day notice to terminate its architectural license agreement with Qualcomm.
That's big.
Which means Qualcomm would no longer be authorized to manufacture, sell, produce, develop, etc. any ARM-based CPU cores.
Yeah.
This is basically what Qualcomm does.
Yeah. That's in all your phones and laptops and all kinds of devices.
Yeah, if you have a Snapdragon or a Qualcomm based device, it's using an ARM processor.
Correct.
Qualcomm has so many different feet in so many different pools. Like the big one right now is obviously like high performance cell phones, the Snapdragon Gen 3 or whatever. Man, Qualcomm ARM CPUs are used down into some of the dumbest devices you could possibly think of. Down to like $2 and $3 devices that need microcontrollers. Qualcomm develops a lot of those, and they're using ARM cores. Well, if there's not an injunction in place, if there's not a stay in place by the courts, Qualcomm will no longer be able to sell ARM devices as of 60 days from, I think, yesterday. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is kind of a big deal.
Now, this article was posted to Android Authority. They seem to have some of the most up-to-date news, and they've actually been reaching out to Qualcomm, and Qualcomm has been providing statements directly to Android Authority. So let me see if I have these in order here. Yeah. So earlier today, at 1 p.m. Eastern today, Qualcomm is understandably not too pleased about ARM's impactful move here and is not mincing words about how it characterizes this action. Direct quote from Qualcomm. This is more of the same from ARM. More unfounded threats designed to strong-arm a long-term partner, interfere with our performance-leading CPUs, and increase royalty rates regardless of the broad rights under our architectural license. Not all that different of language when it comes to Broadcom and their ESXi license changes as of late. Basically, strong-arming partners for double the royalties that they already received for simply running the software. In a statement to Android Authority, a Qualcomm spokesperson makes clear that this company doesn't intend to take this sitting down and is looking forward to asserting its rights before the court. Quote, with a trial fast approaching in December, ARM's desperate ploy appears to be an attempt to disrupt the legal process, and its claim for termination is completely baseless. We are confident that Qualcomm's rights under its agreement with ARM will be affirmed. ARM's anti-competitive conduct will not be tolerated. I kind of agree with Android Authority here. Those are pretty direct terms. As I like to say in a lot of different aspects, words have meaning. And some words that you would use in a press release or official statements, like, well, we are actively collaborating with ARM to see if we can put these minor differences aside and come out with a resolution that is, beneficial to both parties.
Yeah.
Like
yep.
that is the boilerplate, rubber stamp this and we're going to deal with the courts. One of us is going to write a check and everyone's going to be happy at the end of the day. This statement is basically Qualcomm stating, yo, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. And then there's another statement posted at 4:30 Eastern today. So a little over 5 hours ago. ARM's official comment on the actions the company has just taken. So ARM has also issued a statement. Following Qualcomm's repeated material breaches of ARM's license agreement, ARM is left with no choice but to take formal action requiring Qualcomm to remedy its breach or face termination of that agreement. This is necessary to protect the unparalleled ecosystem that ARM and its high-valued partners have built for more than 30 years. ARM is fully prepared for the trial in December and remains confident that the court will find in ARM's favor.
Wow.
Buckle up, y'all. This will get messy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Qualcomm's in San Diego. And ARM is in UK. Mm-hmm. Where is this? Where is the governing authority on this? Where is this? Is this going to be hashed out in a UK court or in a US court?
Let me look that up. US District Court of Delaware.
Delaware. Yeah. Let's meet in between.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yep. ARM states that it has filed a lawsuit to the U.S. District Court for the District of Delaware. The lawsuit is against Qualcomm and two of its subsidiaries, as well as Nuvia, a semiconductor and processor developer. ARM's lawsuit actually stems from Qualcomm's recent acquisition of Nuvia, which happened back in 2021. The firm claimed, and this is quoting from Android Authority from the original article back in 2022. The firm claims that chip designs Nuvia created using ARM's licenses that Qualcomm tried to transfer over during its acquisition of Nuvia. However, this was done without ARM's consent, and Nuvia's licenses were terminated in March of 2022 after failing to reach a resolution. So basically, Qualcomm purchased Nuvia in 2021. Nuvia's licenses as an independent licensee of ARM patents expired in March of 2022. However, Qualcomm was the parent company at that point. ARM did not authorize Qualcomm to use Nuvia's designs under their licensure. And so but boy, that's complicated.
Yeah, that's true. And so December, huh? So this was, I mean, the trial must have been planned way in advance of this. I mean, I know it's still 3 months out. This is just more rhetoric around it.
Correct. Yeah, this is ARM basically playing some of its hand before trial. This is ARM saying, we're going to terminate your license now. So yeah, interesting stuff.
I see a lot of talk in chat about using RISC-V, replacing ARM with RISC-V.
Yeah, RISC-V.
RISC-V?
Yeah. Look, RISC-V...
I know nothing about it.
RISC-V is an open source set of instructions. It is actually not that dissimilar from ARM as far as ARM is in itself a reduced instruction set processor. But RISC-V is an open source processor development. You can utilize RISC-V all you want. And in fact, we're starting to see some RISC-V products hit the market, including the Raspberry Pi Pico 2, powered by the Ep.356. That has 2 ARM processors as well as a RISC-V core on board. So two ARM 166 megahertz processors and a 133 megahertz RISC-V chip on board the single system on chip. And you can choose which one you want to boot into via a bootloader. It's kind of cool. RISC-V... Look, the reason ARM is good now is because companies have been developing it for 30 years.
Right.
RISC-V, best case scenario. Let's say Qualcomm loses this trial in December. Their license is invalid. They can no longer sell anything. They can no longer sell any ARM products. Well, let's just turn around and sell RISC-V. Qualcomm is... if they devoted 100% of their resources, if they stopped making any products at all and devoted 100% of their resources to developing for RISC-V, they're 5 years out from being competitive with themselves.
Yeah.
Think about that statement.
That's a lot of R&D to put behind.
We have seen this before. This is AMD circa 2012. This is AMD circa 2012 realizing that bulldozer architecture is not going to scale, is not getting the yields that we thought it would, is not performant enough to compete with the competition. This architecture is a dead end. We cannot develop it further, and even if we did, we'd be spinning our tires and we'd be falling even further behind. We're going to stop developing anything around FX architecture. And we're going to switch 100% of our focus onto a new platform, onto a new chip semiconductor design, which eventually became Ryzen. That turnaround was 5 years.
It took a long time, and they suffered for those 5 years. I remember.
Yes,
they were taking a beating.
AMD basically just about went out of business, but had a sound plan in place, and here they are as the market leader as far as performance goes now. Maybe not revenue, but getting there. But yeah, they are 5 years out from competing with 2024 Qualcomm. Not 2029 Qualcomm, 2024 Qualcomm. This would be 5 years down the road and going, we finally have a chip that beats the Snapdragon Gen 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's if they switched gears today and devoted 100% of resources.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. That's what this kind of turnaround is. Maybe they could do it in 4, but again, 100% of resources. That's what's on the table here. That's what's at risk here. Haha, risk.
Risk.
So this is not a small deal. This is not a two companies fighting just to fight. This is like kind of the future of the mobile processor market.
It really is.
Outside of Apple.
I mean, if Qualcomm loses this, they might essentially be out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then again, okay, so ARM is just doing design. So that means everybody else is going to have to stop using Snapdragons. They'll have to start using something else.
Mm-hmm.
Who's up to speed? I mean, there really isn't anybody. So are we going to be
Motorola?
stagnant? Are we going to be stagnant with the latest phones with the same performance for like years?
Everyone except Apple, because Apple has more money than God.
They might be able to throw a bunch of money out to get the R&D going faster, but I have no.
Apple licenses ARM, and ARM's happy to take Apple's money.
Of course. No, they'll keep going forward with what they got.
Yeah. It would be funny if Qualcomm bought Ampere and used their license. Just keep hopping from one startup to the next. Oh, I love that. Yeah, Samsung would be next one with Exynos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else has a current license to produce ARM? Broadcom, Samsung, Qualcomm, Ampere, Motorola, Apple, Samsung. Like, the list goes on and on. Everyone makes ARM processors, and they all license them. The problem is, again, that ARM wants to stop licensing their IP and start producing it first party so that they can simply sell chips or sell chip designs that they designed in-house to licensing companies. The problem with that is it stifles innovation.
Yeah.
So
having one source is not going to help everybody.
Yeah, Nvidia's on that list. Hell, even Intel and AMD are on that list. They make ARM processors too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, everyone's on that list. The question is, what is the outcome of this trial going to be? Does Qualcomm have the right to purchase a smaller company, absorb their intellectual property that was technically licensed by ARM, into the greater fold, and then utilize that technology under their existing license agreement?
Or do they have to get a new license agreement? I guess maybe that was the idea, that they bought it because the terms of that license was favorable.
I don't think they bought it. They didn't buy it for the license. They bought it simply for the IP.
The IP, yeah.
They bought it for the development. And it'd be super weird that ARM would not recognize someone purchasing the IP from purchasing the company outright,
right,
and still honoring that company's license. However, Nuvia's license, as we said, in the middle of all this, in March of 2022, in between the purchase and the acquisition, expired.
Okay, and they didn't renew it?
Nuvia was no longer a company.
Okay, yeah, I guess it wasn't. It was in flux, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, they didn't renew it. But then Qualcomm goes, hey, we're going to start using Nuvia's tech and instruction sets and designs in our ARM processors. And ARM said, no, you can't do that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the
and it's
literally
not,
$10 billion question.
Yeah, and this is like, and I think, I mean, it could be just speculation. You know, Snapdragon's big.
Yeah.
And like you said, this was all expected to be just somebody writing a check and being, all right, ARM will pay you more money.
Yeah.
But this seems to be more than just that. I think they're playing hardball here.
Both companies are playing hardball. And I don't know if we've seen anything like this in a long time, as far as two companies willing to just like duke it out and litigate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah, there was this let's see, was it still out there? This seems like a story on this book I read a while back called PC Roadkill. And it was a bunch of stories about the early days of computer development, Intel, Nvidia, Apple, all those players, and the early days of that, and all the litigation that went on with it, and anecdotes behind all those stories that were behind it. Yeah, all those type of things. This reminds me of stories out of that book. I highly recommend, if people like reading about, computer history and what happened way back then, go find a copy of PC Roadkill. It was published in the 90s, so this is all about stuff that happened mainly in the 80s.
Yeah.
This is early computer stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very good because like all this type of stuff, like a ton of this stuff happened, but because computers weren't as popular, it wasn't as widespread, but there was tons of these competing companies clamoring to have control of these new technologies.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be interesting to watch. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch because we'll always have something to talk about for a couple months.
This is true.
Talking Heads.
This is true.
We could disseminate the proceedings if they publish them at the court proceedings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hybrid Robotics says if ARM wins, we all lose. Right. Like I said, I made the statement that what ARM is trying to do is stifling innovation. And look, I'm not saying you don't have a right to profit from your own IP. ARM owns the licensing. ARM owns the design and the patent rights to everything about the ARM processor. However, the individual companies that have licensed ARM and been able to develop their own processors based on the technology, what happens if all of them go away because ARM decides to no longer license, and now you will buy X processor from ARM and you'll pay X amount of money from it? Competition raises all shit. Raises all shit.
Yeah, raises everybody.
It asks you to be your best so you can compete with everyone around you, and competition drives innovation. Competition also drives up the stock price of literally everyone.
Oh yeah.
I have never understood running a true monopoly. Look, I'm sure you can price it whatever you want, but at the same time, if you price it too high, then people are simply going to stop buying, regardless of if it's food or gas or whatever the
it gets too high. The market can't bear it. The market can't bear it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but if you constantly have to compete, it drives prices down. It drives innovation up. It drives efficiency up.
Yeah.
And everyone wins. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree. But I mean, the worst thing that could happen if ARM does win, that means something else will probably rise up. But it's going to take, like you said, 5, 6, 7 years before that even happens. And then in the meantime, we're just stagnant. Maybe. I mean, we're relying on ARM to make, leaps forward.
If Qualcomm's license goes away, we're not just stagnant. Qualcomm goes away for the next 5 years. It's not like they can be like AMD and continue to sell their old processors. They can't sell those processors anymore.
No.
This is worse than the AMD situation. Gearling chiming in. RISC-V is going to need many more billions to catch up. It's possible, but it's going to be 5 to 10 years before it is where ARM is today.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Yeah.
I said exactly the same thing.
We just said that, yeah.
Not maybe 5 minutes ago before you joined in. So thank you. Thank you for, for agreeing. Yeah, I said if Qualcomm were to do a full reset, go like, we're going to go RISC-V, and they put 100% of their resources behind RISC-V today, we would get a Snapdragon competitor in 2029.
Yeah.
We would get a Snapdragon 2024 competitor in 2029.
Yeah.
It would take 4 to 5 years for Qualcomm to hit the reset button. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And actually, speaking of Jeff Geerling, I used your post for the next piece of this story, which is Qualcomm cancels Snapdragon Dev Kits and refunds all orders.
Oh wow!
So hey, it's Jeff's all the way down. Yeah. Dear valued customer, please see this important message from Qualcomm. At Qualcomm, we are dedicated to pioneering leading technology and delivering premium experiences to our valued customers. The launch of 30-plus Snapdragon X Series powered PCs is a testament to our ability to deliver leading technology in the PC industry, desire to move to our next generation technology. Yeah. However, the developer kit product comprehensively has not met our usual standards of excellence, and so we are reaching out to let you know that unfortunately we have made the decision to pause this product and the support of it indefinitely. Based on the above, we are working to provide a full refund for any charges to your account for your purchase. You should receive this credit refund within 10 business days. It is not necessarily return any material if received. Unfortunately, any outstanding orders will be canceled. Thank you for your understanding.
Man, that's a picture of things to come, right? I mean, there was no product that was released, right? They never put anything out.
This was a developer kit that was, I think, $1,000. Like, it was not cheap. Geerling said he owns a piece of Qualcomm history. There's one on his desk. If you
so he does have one. So some did go out.
He got one. Yeah, I think that's maybe all they shipped.
Are you gonna keep it, Jeff, or are you gonna like send it back, get your $1,000 back?
Yeah, I'd keep it.
It belongs in a museum.
Yep. Yep. Geerling says 200 of them were shipped. So yeah, you've got a pretty rare little piece of kit there. Put that with an Apple Transition Mac Mini, man, you've got a sweet little ARM collection going.
Yeah, you know.
Keeping it'll be worth tree fitty someday.
Let's say mount it like a trophy, like a hunting trophy.
Oh yeah,
above his fireplace.
Yeah, I've got some fun little things that I keep around that are like one of ones. So, actually, where is? There it is. So, sorry. Show and tell. Everyone knows the Intel bunny suit guys.
Oh yeah.
The Pentium 2 bunny suit guys.
Yeah.
I have a super rare one holding a laptop.
Oh.
And he still has the tag on it.
They still got the tag on it?
Yeah.
Dude, that's more coveted than the rare Beanie Babies.
Right. Yeah. But it's got a laptop with a full QWERTY keyboard and like it has the same reflective material on the screen of it as his face shield.
Oh, nice.
He's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a precursor. It's got ray tracing on it. It's
yeah.
reflective surfaces.
Yeah, I've got 3 of these. I've got 2 of them in like mint condition. Like the tags are in perfect shape. You can read the inside description on them.
Did you ever go on eBay and see how much they're worth?
They might be like $20-$30. They're not much.
I went because like I have on my work desk, I have because I bought the collector's edition of Lord of the Rings on DVD when it first came out.
Yeah,
and they had the resin cast statues of the 2 guys, with their hands out like that. Right?
Yeah.
And then just recently, I saw somebody trying to sell it on eBay for like $75 for those resin cast statues. And I'm like, I have it on my desk. I don't know. Is that really worth money? I guess it's worth whatever one's willing to pay for it.
That's right. I see individual ones on here selling for between $10 and $15.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
There's a lot of keychain ones, which were a lot smaller, and they have like the plastic keychains on them. Here's a blue one, but this one's Intel Centrino, so this was way way newer.
That's old. Yeah,
mine's the Pentium 2.
Yeah, that's the Pentium 2. That's slapped PC.
So that one was $17. I'm seeing a lot of different colors on here. I only have 3 of the colors. I'm seeing like sets of 5, which are the 5 main colors, for like $65, $75, right in there.
Yeah.
So, a little over $10 a piece.
Okay. Just keep them.
Yeah.
As long as your puppies don't get a hold of them.
Yeah, I don't see any of the ones with the Pentium 2 laptop. The Centrino one pops up.
That might have been like widely distributed then. You might have a rare one.
Yeah. Yep. Gearling says, "Gotta go, but my Jet KVM video features a little Star Trek lore. Thought of this channel when I was working on it. Ooh, I can't wait to see it."
There we go.
Nice. Cosworth sends over $2. Thank you very much. The Fellowship of Jeffs tonight. Yes.
It was. And he's got a jump, though. So it only lasted for a while.
Yep. Not here for a long time, just a good time.
Yeah.
It kind of got me curious on if anyone else has one of the laptop yellow
laptop
ones.
Pentium 2s, yeah.
I don't see any.
Wow.
Here's a mix of 4 of them for $50, and the yellow one is on here, but there's no laptop on the yellow.
There's no laptop on it, right?
Yeah,
you're looking for the yellow with the laptop.
He's nowhere to be found.
And you might have something super rare. I don't know.
I might.
I mean, but if no one knows it exists and no one wants it, then it doesn't matter if it's super rare. Oh, John Jay.
Yeah, Centrino's about a decade newer than Pentium 2. Yeah. Pentium 2, the Pentium 2 bunny suit dudes, they came out in, 97? 98?
98 around that time. I want to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
because that's when like Windows 98 and
Centrino was based on Pentium 4. It was a Pentium 4
a clock down version. Yeah. It was the small version of it.
Right. Yeah. Which was 2005? 2004? I think 2005 is when Centrino started to hit.
Go look, but I think you're right. Let's see.
Intel Centrino. March 2003.
Yeah, 2003. Okay, there it is.
Intel Mobile 855 chipset.
Yep.
2003,
4, and 5.
Yep.
130 nanometer. Yep.
Cool. We're old, Steve.
Don't I know it? I'm more than you. Not by much, though.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe a little bit more, but that's fine.
Feels like a little less every day.
There's this phenomenon, I guess, like when you're in high school and stuff like that. You're a senior, you don't want to associate with a freshman, yet you're only like a couple years apart, right?
Yeah.
But when you get older, you're like, you're only like 10 years younger than me. It's not a big deal. Whatever. It's just like, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like as you get older, the age gap just means less and less and less and less.
Yeah. My sister is 13 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And She still uses language I don't understand. Like I am kind of the boomer in this household.
Okay.
In fact, I sent her a DM the other day because there was a Reddit post about banned words in class, and it was bruh, bro, on God, say less, Gucci, which is one of Rhett's words.
Gucci, yeah.
Type S, Riz, bussin', mood, low key, high key, finna, like it had all the Gen Z slang on it. I said, I know what most of these mean, but only because you live with me.
Yes.
Only because I rent you a room.
Oh man, okay. So my son's already starting to pick up on some of these, and he's only 8, and he's got like the skibbity and the sigma and
oh gosh,
bruh is still in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh bruh is one of my oldest.
Still, yeah. He's got a well, because like his older nephew, he always said bruh. Because he's like 16, 17, 18 almost. And he always said, bruh. And so my son always looked up to him. And so he started saying, bruh. And so I think for Christmas last year, we got a matching t-shirt that said, bruh on it. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, we had to ban the use of bruh for a while because you would call my daughter and she'd go, bruh.
I mean, bruh is just completely used the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think and then it went back to bro and then bruh. Rutro. That's the Scooby worry. Uh-oh. F. They're saying F or something.
Uh-oh. We didn't die.
I don't think so. There's a couple F's on the chat. Dropped frames. Okay, I guess it's a couple drop frames.
I have 0 dropped frames.
Huh.
OBS reports accurately because it's OBS.
Yeah.
OBS shows 0 dropped frames. Literally 0.
Yes.
The number 0, not 0%, and we've been broadcasting for an hour.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. Okay, must have been localized somewhere.
Yeah. I'm blaming YouTube for that one.
That probably could be, yeah.
I thought ARM sued the stream. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh man, I don't know. This beer is really good. It's super delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this happens to you, but this happens to me sometimes. There's a certain hop somewhere that really makes me congested.
Oh.
It just like plugs me up.
Yes.
This hop must be in here because I'm having a hard time. It's not a cold or anything. I'm not sick.
Right.
It's just there's certain hops I think that like cause congestion.
Little Idaho 7 or maybe some Simcoe or something like that.
I have no idea what it is. It's got to be a rare one because I don't normally get it. Or maybe it's the lactose because there's lactose in here. It's got Galaxy Citrus Strata, which I've had all those before, but it also has lactose in it. Maybe it's the lactose.
It could be. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I'll be a mouth breather for a while.
Anyway, speaking of, that was a great transition because my beer is gone. So I'm going to open this box now.
Okay, what you got? This is the big reveal.
This is the big reveal. This is a beer that doesn't cost anything near what I think it probably should. So this is the Kirkland Vintage Ale.
Oh, yes. Okay, I heard about this. This is the Costco Vintage Ale.
Yes.
I did hear about this. Yes,
I picked a couple of them.
Super curious about this.
Did you hear who makes this?
Well, yeah, it's Goose Island.
It's Deschutes.
Oh, no, it's Deschutes. I thought it was Goose Island.
Deschutes
makes it. Okay.
This was $10 a bottle.
That's cheap.
12% bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, 22-ounce bomber. $9.99. If you know Deschutes, you know Abyss.
Okay. Yes.
Abyss,
is that what it's supposed to be?
I don't know what else it could be.
I wonder if somebody on tap said something about it.
So Abyss is Deschutes' annual release bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, usually around 12%.
There it is. Yeah.
It's a $25 bottle.
Right.
This is a 12% barrel aged imperial stout. Bomber.
$10.
$10.
Yeah. I see a lot of people. The average is 375.
Okay.
Which is decent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to pick one up myself because I did hear about this. I had a couple of friends text me. He's like, "Did you see this at Costco?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a good deal, like $10."
By the way, Green chimes in and sends me his 2 Intel guys.
Oh, he's got 2 of them too.
Yeah. These are far different from mine. Yours are Intel Inside. Mine is Intel Pentium 2. With a little bit shinier suit, a little bit more crinkly suits, they look like.
Right.
He does have a Pentium 2 one over there, but that's a more of a cloth doll.
He's got the Fantasy Island version of the Ricardo Montalban and tattoo. The plane, boss, the plane.
Nice. So anyway, yeah, we got
such an old reference. Good
yes,
God.
yes, it was. We're old, Steve.
I don't know who got that. Oh, jeez.
So thank you, Green. You also sent over $2, so thank you very much for that. And Cosworth sends over another $2. Damn it, Bobby, I have some for you. Oh, you got some of the Costco ale for me? Cool. We'll have that at PDX Land.
There we go.
Boss, the cheaps.
The tips, boss, the cheaps. Okay.
Anyway.
Other people understood it. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Kirkland Vintage Ale, brewed by Deschutes Brewery, Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, I'm curious. All right, while you're doing that, I'm gonna open my Rowicomania. See how this is.
Very vanilla. Very vanilla.
Well, okay, so I don't think it's an Abyss then.
It's not an Abyss. Yeah,
Abyss is more like licorice.
Abyss is
coffee.
Licorice, coffee, dark chocolate.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is vanilla. This is... All right. Oh, it's dark. It's not pitch black, but it's dark. He's dark, senor.
Senor. God, this one's super cloudy too. Yeah.
Steve, the head on this.
I know. I can tell. It's not going down either. That's a thick boy.
No, it's not. You know what might be going down? Smartphones.
Yes.
I've been seeing this story pop up for about 6 months, and I don't know if it's just marketing blitz to sell feature phones again, or if people are actually buying feature phones, but I'm kind of intrigued either way.
Well, okay, so I think there's a two-prong thing to this as well. Because not only is it probably parents getting them for kids for like, okay, so it's just a device that I can keep in touch with them. But it's also like people like my father-in-law who absolutely refuse to use anything but these types of phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's got to be a market for those out there because I've run into other people like him who are just like, I just want a phone that I can put in my pocket. I don't want to have to plug it in because like the thing with these old phones, these feature phones like this, you charge them up, they'll last for days.
Yeah.
Like because you're not constantly on them and they're not being constantly pinged with all your notifications and your Facebook notifications and everything like that. It's just a thing. Maybe you might get a text now and then. you can sit there and charge it up, and the battery will last like 3-4 days,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have to worry about plugging it in all the time. And that's attractive to a lot of older people. It's also attractive to, parents who want to be able to communicate with their kids, but not have to worry about, having them be on social media or anything like that. So yeah, I can see there's definitely a market there.
Yeah.
But I think it's on the two spectrums. I think it's with the young, at the old, which I've noticed that a lot. I mean, I don't want to say I am in close proximity to an older geriatric person who's living in my house, and I see a lot of parallels between my young son and an old guy. I'm just saying, there's a lot of parallels. There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah. Superhound says some Gen Z using feature phones too. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
If I were traveling a lot more, I would consider a feature phone if I could get a couple extra features with it. If I could get some wallet functionality, and so your NFC tap to pay.
Right.
If I could utilize that, and if it had a decent camera. Other than that,
some basic features.
Basic features. Like, I don't even need a good screen. I just need it to take decent pictures. And be able to either save those pictures to an SD card or something. Just something I can take out, like we used to use our old feature phones.
Right. But those were all like terrible resolution pictures. I mean,
they were
garbage.
And I'm not talking like spectacular pictures.
Yeah.
I'm talking make it not hurt my eyes when I open it. That's all I want.
Yeah.
If you can give me a circa, I mean, give me an iPhone 4 level picture, and I'm gonna be freaking happy.
You'll be okay with that, yeah.
Yeah, just something beyond 1.3 megapixel / VGA. That's all I want.
I don't know how much power the camera feature takes, but I just from anecdotal, evidence that I think cameras do drain your battery quite a bit, because that's primarily what my wife uses her phone for. She uses it a lot for taking pictures and stuff, and I don't take that many pictures because she does it, right? So I don't need to.
Yeah.
And she's always like, "Oh, my battery's almost dead. Let me use your phone." And I'm like, "Well, because you're taking pictures this whole time."
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you put like a more high-end camera on there, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the viewfinder when you're using it, because you use your camera as a viewfinder, and it could mess it up. Maybe if you got rid of the viewfinder and you're just like using it like an old school digital camera, and just seeing the results, maybe the battery will last longer. I don't know, but be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Novella Hub. Hey, me too, dude. Me too. It says Novella Hub says most of my pictures are for untapped beer.
Beer check-ins.
That's exactly. I'm like, oh, you're running out of space? Okay, I'll delete this picture of beer, this picture of beer, this picture of beer. It's like hundreds of pictures of beer. Yeah, that's me.
Yep. But I mean, one of the biggest things is I still need to use it as a hotspot. But I'm looking up, and here's the Nokia 6300 4G.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi hotspot, Google Maps, and Assistant.
Oh, that's not bad.
$70.
Okay, this is actually kind of cool, because like I have some qualms with the phone that I have my father-in-law.
You have some qualms with Qual?
The qualms with Qual, yeah. The phone that he has. I'm saying the phone that he has.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want to get something that'll bridge the gap between a smartphone and the crappy old flip phone that he has. Well, this might be something that he can use, where it still has like decent features, but it still is kind of like an old school phone, so he'll know how to use it. The problem is I don't want to give him a smartphone because he just literally does not know how to use those things.
Yeah.
$99 bottles of beer on my phone. 99 bottles of beer. Delete one picture, take it around. 98 pictures of beer on my phone.
More like 103 pictures of beer on my phone.
Oh god, there's so many. I mean, I've kind of slowed down with my untapped checkings in nuns. But let me see, where did I leave off here? I am at of unique check-ins on untapped. I am at about 6,000 check-ins.
Yeah, there everyone goes. I went ahead and posted it.
Okay, so that's the phone you're talking about, huh?
Yeah. NFC 50 megapixel camera, 4-inch 720p. Google Maps would be nice.
Yeah, that's nice. He's even got YouTube on there too. It looks like
it says YouTube.
YouTube, Facebook. Who knows what it looks like though?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder if that's YouTube Music.
Yeah, it could be. No, I think the icon for YouTube Music is slightly different.
It is slightly different. Stream what you like on YouTube.
Yeah.
It says YouTube.
Well, that's one of the things that I always thought my father would love is like, I think he would like YouTube because I'm like, hey, you type in whatever song you, because he's always asked me, he likes old music, he likes old movies. I'm like, well, you can't get old movies, but you type in any song you want to hear on YouTube, it will bring it up for you. It is quite great.
This is funny. This is funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nokia 6300 4G, $70. Runs KaiOS, which I think we knew. 2.4-inch screen. 240 by 320 resolution. 4 gigabytes of storage. 512 RAM. Processor. Qualcomm Snapdragon 210. Rear camera is a 1 megapixel. And man, I think you're missing the boat on there. I don't need a lot of processing. But give me an 8 megapixel rear camera.
Just a little bit higher.
And a micro SD card.
Yeah.
Give me Raspberry Pi HQ camera. Not even HQ. Just give me something that's not 1 megapixel.
Right. 1 megapixel is pretty dang low.
Yeah. And again, NFC. And so if I go to an airport, I can pull up a wallet. I can tap to pay. I can bring up the QR code to board.
And that should be super easy. I mean, those are on credit cards. I mean, this should be easy to put on there.
Yeah. So that's what I want. If someone can find me a feature phone that comes close to that, I might do it.
Just for traveling?
Just to do it.
Just to do it?
Just to do it.
Just to simplify your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with, it depends on the use case. Because like I said, my wife just loves taking pictures. And she uses her phone and her camera, pretty much as the same device. So it would have to be something that... she doesn't want to go high-end SLR or anything like that because it's too big for her to pack around. She just gets inconvenienced by having that with her. Obviously, that's going to be the best case scenario here, photographer. But she does like the high-end cell phones that take great-looking pictures, but you can also carry it in your pocket. And that's something that's attractive to her. So something like this wouldn't really work unless you can you don't care. Like I don't care. Me and you don't. I'm taking pictures of my beer half the time.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Stream music. Yeah, it's stream music or something like that.
They say the Nokia 2780 has a 5 megapixel rear camera.
That's not bad. It's getting better.
And it's a flip phone.
Oh. So there's still a market for those old school phones. Some people are just like, I don't know if it's retro or if it's just use case.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to try one. I really would be.
I mean, some of these look pretty decent. Just the fact that there's no touch screen makes the interface that much interesting. How did they get the touch buttons to work with the interface like a intuitive operating system? Like the advent of the smartphone was the touch screen. It made it super intuitive. I touch this, it does this. I touch it, does this. The problem with texting with his old school phones is you had to, if you wanted to text a message, you had to hit the button 3 times or 2 times or 1 time. And people, with the advent of the smartphone, it was touchscreen. I touch this, it does this. It's intuitive for people. These don't have touchscreens. So I want to see what the intuitiveness of these operating systems are. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
I think KaiOS is very indicative of Nokia phones a la 2004.
Yeah. So like a little more interactivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're much better than that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's evolved a little bit past that, but
yeah.
His sideload APKs, I don't know about that. Oh no, slide out keyboards. I used to love like smartphones with slide out keyboards.
I've tried slide out keyboards. They were all awful. Every single one of them. Even in their heyday.
Oh no, I loved them. I thought they were great.
Button-based keyboards were the worst thing ever.
No, they were good. I had no problem with them.
It's only because you couldn't remember how to do graffiti on Palm OS.
It wasn't until the whole slide predictive text was I able to switch, because I was just so used to typing.
So you use keyboard. Swipe. See,
yes, the
swipe is about the only reason I'm faster on a modern smartphone than I was with graffiti in 2001.
Oh, graffiti. Okay. You
put a stylus on my hand on a Palm device. I'm
okay. Yeah, but that was that was a learning curve too, because you had to have predictive.
It was a learning curve.
You had to know how to actually write it.
Yep. Yeah, there was a bit of a learning curve, but once you figured it out, I mean, something you talk to a Dvorak keyboard enthusiast, and they're like, "Oh, once you switch, it's just so much better."
I don't know.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I'm not switching to Dvorak.
I think what it is, yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's like, you get used to it and people swear up and down it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But there's learning curves to everything.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I got a smartwatch. I got a Samsung Galaxy Active 2.
Right.
This has 4G on it.
Yeah, it's got its own line. It's got its own signal. Yeah.
Except it's an eSIM, and Google Fi still won't register it.
Oh, really? It won't?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
So it's not quite there yet.
Nope. So I bought this with the idea that, like, when I travel, I can just leave my cell phone in my backpack,
right?
And I'll just travel with this.
Yeah.
Right. Have my cell phone when I need it, that kind of thing. But do most of my communication with this.
Right.
This is a nightmare to try to do anything on.
Really?
Because it has 4G. But getting to a contact and without the data stream to your phone to get signal, there's no text to speech, there's no assistant, there's no anything like that. And when I invoke the assistant on this, it's simply trying to register whatever my phone thinks is context correct,
Right.
which is fine in those circumstances. But I've tried this on Wi-Fi and it's awful.
Really?
So I'm kind of glad it doesn't work on cellular. But yeah, it's an interesting experience to say the least.
I thought about getting a smartwatch like that, but I only want it for when I go like for my walks and my jogs and stuff like that. I try to get out. I don't want to listen to podcasts and music and stuff like that when I'm out there. I go a couple miles, and I don't like having a big bulky phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it, I would much rather just have like a smartwatch. And that's all I want it for. And I'm sure what you have right there is probably okay for that. Right?
It does all right for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it has the fitness tracker. It's got the heart rate. It's got all that kind of stuff. The way I use my watch, the main reason I use this is the same way I use the Pebbles, the Pebble smartwatches. I have a Pebble and a Pebble Steel.
I remember the Pebbles. Yeah.
God, those were so great because battery lasted 5 days. You charge it for an hour once a week, and you're good.
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember the Pebbles. They were great. I never was big on a wristwatch. I didn't like it, but the Pebble I actually really liked.
The thing with the Pebble that most smartwatches can't seem to grasp, it's not supposed to be the device you use. Yeah. It is supposed to be an ancillary device to tell you whether or not you need to use your phone.
Yeah.
The way I used my Pebble was my phone would go blip, and I'd flip up my watch, and it would, because it was Pebble, it was always on, and so you'd flip up your watch and go, I don't need to deal with that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
so,
exactly what it was.
Versus every time your phone goes blip, you reach into your pocket, you grab your phone, you swipe your notifications. Oh, I can't see the notifications because email security. So you'd unlock your phone, you'd find out what notification went off. Oh, that's an email. Well, I've already got my phone out. I might as well just respond to that right now. No, don't do that. Stop doing it.
I recently upgraded my phone. I got the latest Galaxy phone, and I like every single notification was the same tone, and I got annoyed with that because I'm like, I don't know if it's important or not. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like change the notification tone for every single email address that I have, whether it's work or maybe multiple Gmails or like my texts and stuff like that. So I know whether level of importance. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I did do that, but I have so many. I'm still like trying to recognize. Wait, was that my junk mail, or was that an important email? I gotta remember which one.
Is that VIP? Is that which list is that from?
I would like to be able to just record my own voice to be like, work email. And I could just, it goes, okay, it's work email. All right, there we go. I know it. Nice. It's going to tell me.
Well, you have to do tones that correspond to emotions. And so if it's work email, it's the Imperial March. If it's...
I actually did do that. I found like some 80s, retro 80s stuff. So like any like craft computing stuff, I put like retro 80s, the computer type sounds and stuff like that. My work stuff was more like dun dun, those type of sounds. So I did try to associate sounds with emotions.
Yes,
I did try to do that.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. We do have a little bit of gaming news. Before we get to that, I have a little bit of an update. I guess you can call it an update.
Sure.
This is what you'll get for right now. I am holding a rough estimation of
I did see this on the Discord,
of what Axe Effect PoE will look like.
Nice.
So we got all the major components that we need to get on there in a very rough layout. But schematics are done. And we're working on actual PCB layout over the next week or so. But we got everything on there. So there's your Ethernet and your barrel jack for power. By the way, this is PoE. And then if you flip it around, we've got USB-C port right there. We've got 2 button connections. We've got 2 ergobleds because, hell yeah, we need RGB on there, right? And then we have all the power circuitry here on this side of the board, and then the Raspberry Pi circuitry over on this side of the board. Ethernet controller work. Like, we have this all breadboarded out, and it all works. And so now it's laying it out and making it efficient and everything else. But this is about the size of a Raspberry Pi Model A, if you remember those.
Yeah.
It's 50 by 70 millimeter, and so it's not a big form factor at all. So, yeah, that's coming soon.
I don't want to be prophetic, but that looks exactly like a Minecraft world my son made just a couple days ago.
You're not wrong. I thought about multi-material printing this, and so but I don't have a material switcher, and so it'd be like I could print the PCB one color and then the components another color. Like that's something I could totally do. You just stop it at a layer and do a filament swap. But
while he was building the world, he was saying, "This is important. This means something."
but yeah, so progress is being made.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. In fact, I sent like 3 really important emails today to various parties that I'm working with. I'm hoping we have an announcement by around November 15th as far as when you can purchase these.
Cool. Awesome. So, prototypes on its way.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually hoping to order the first prototype PCB by the end of next week.
Oh, really? That's a lot faster than I thought.
Yep. Cool. And I have reached out to a local company who is going to do PCB and PCB assembly for us.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I didn't know there was a local company that did that.
Neither did I.
Okay.
So look, tensions are high. There's warnings of like tariffs and crap and everything else. And I'm like, I just want to make sure that my business plan moving forward is a solid business plan moving forward. Plus, when we get into enterprise, there's the whole, supply chain security. If we start selling enterprise gear, let's just establish that now. Let's just get ahead of this and pretend we're an enterprise company from the get-go. And so we are doing a number of things in that regard. But one of the things I said is, I want boards cut and assembled and flashed here. And that's not xenophobic of me. That's literally just like, I'd rather work with someone in my backyard.
Yeah.
PCBWay has been a great partner. And it's not like I'm dropping them because they were horrible. No, they were fantastic. But moving forward, I want part of my business model to be a little bit more localized. And so we're potentially making a switch. That has not happened yet. I'm still waiting on quotes. We're waiting on the schematic is done for the layout or the electrical paths. We're working on PCB layout, which is the physical routing. Once the physical routing is done, we need to submit that as well as the bill of materials, which is all the individual components, passives, actives, ports, everything else. To see what the PCB assembler can purchase and then assemble them for, plus etch the board, plus everything else that's involved in that, and see where we land.
Yeah.
If they're 3 times as much, sorry, I'm going back to PCBWay. If they're competitive and I don't have to wait 6 weeks to get something in my hands because they're literally in my backyard.
Well, and you could also go face-to-face meetings. You can do all kinds of more personal stuff.
I didn't even tell them who I was. I simply said I'm a company who's developing this product and we're interested in working with someone a little bit more local and can you quote me out? And he goes, oh yeah, no, we'll quote you out. Get us your Gerber files and your build of materials and we'll quote you for a couple prototype runs. And we definitely have the capacity to do your retail runs as well, because I let him know numbers on that. And he goes, oh, and by the way, if you ever want to come by, I'll get you a tour.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, exactly. Of course.
Sweet.
You get to have somebody wine and dine you.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around.
So hold on. I'm gonna here. Don't say it out loud, but I want to see your reaction.
Oh, I haven't seen anything. Where is it?
I sent you.
There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
All right.
what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's very, very close. That's very, very close. I go there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a whole PCB fab shop.
Really? I
Like
had no idea.
right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We stopped off there for lunch on the way back from the last PDX land.
We did.
It's like, we did. It's right there.
They're in the little industrial complex, actually not far from there.
Ooh. Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, what that means for all you is we're trying to do production and assembly 100% in state.
Yeah.
Not just in US, but in state, in Oregon.
So you could sell your Axe effects in the Made in Oregon store at the Portland airport.
I could, actually.
It would be all completely.
That's amazing. You're totally correct about that. So, yeah, no, I'm super excited about couple potential partnerships that have sprouted up. I can't mention the other one, but I've mentioned multiple times that I'm not a logistics company. Guess what? I found a company who wants to do logistics for me.
There you go.
Who wants to do the retail and shipping side of things. Richie says, Sandy Fish and Chips, are you in my town? I live in Salem, Oregon.
Yes.
So
yes, Sandy Fish and Chips are delicious.
I am probably in your town if you know what Sandy Fish and Chips are. Yep. Yeah, Jeff was made in Oregon as well. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon native. I'm from Eugene. So. Yeah, no, Richie, I'm at Sandy Am once a week, maybe.
Yeah, Sandy Am's great. We go there quite often.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you ever see me around town, say hi. Totally cool. So, very exciting stuff. And we're actually hoping to ship early January.
Oh, that's ambitious.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're hoping to start shipping in like 9 weeks.
So, in 9 weeks, really?
Yep.
So that's pretty quick.
So, we're fairly confident at this point. We're 100% confident in the firmware. We know the firmware works, and we know at this point that our Ethernet controller works. One of the main things here was the Ethernet controller, the PoE, the power delivery.
Yes.
We have a high degree of confidence in the power delivery, although we haven't tested it for EMI and other things that we need to test for.
Okay.
But on a test bench, it's working very well. We haven't gotten it certified or tested yet for EMI, but that's coming within the next short while. We have a solid plan in place for a much more industrial style case, not 3D printed. It is going to be a metal enclosure. And one of the other emails that I sent out earlier today was around getting some custom casing manufactured. And
is it still going to have the overall same shape, or is it going to be like...
No, wildly different.
Wildly different. Okay. Is it going to actually look like an axe?
No. The first one kind of looked like an axe.
I know, that's why you call it an axe.
This one is a rack mountable. Actually, it's not going to look that dissimilar from the Bly KVM.
Okay, there we go.
But
it's much smaller,
shorter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you think of like, a rack mountable little side unit like that, so that'll sit inside of there like that. It'll be a 1U rack mountable space. You'll have inside of there USB and buttons out the front, so you'll have like reset and boot buttons right there, and then out the rear you'll have DC power and power over Ethernet inputs. Sure. RGB will shine out the front, and then right here by the front USB we have the actual temperature sensor itself, which will also have a cap on it to be isolated from the rest of the board as far as heat generation, and have perforation in the front panel for airflow to pass through it. Nice. And so this is rack mount, and then that's your temperature sensor.
Perfect.
Is the idea there. So yeah, the final version will look kind of something like this, although definitely also nothing like this. But
yeah.
But form factor kind of similar.
Okay.
Where it just mounts onto one set of ears, and then you've got a USB on the front, and then your power and your Ethernet on the rear.
Okay. So something simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Build It Up says, I'm not sure what the device does. Sorry, this is my server / rack / data center temperature, pressure, and humidity sensor. So, long story short, if you've ever tried to measure accurate temperature and humidity in a rack mount style system, they all suck. So we're making one that doesn't suck. And it's readable via SNMP. So you can record it.
Remotely monitor it. You could be like halfway across the world and still see what's going on with your racks.
Yep. It's also highly, highly accurate. That was one of the main things that I was harping on. I've got a bunch of APC units that I've deployed over the years, and most of them have a 1 degree Celsius fidelity where you don't see temperature change until it changes 1 degree, and so you get this stair-step looking thing, which means temperature has to have changed for a while for you to see any kind of change in your sensor. I've even had some that are 2 degrees Celsius, like 3.5, 4 degrees Fahrenheit difference.
Big jumps.
That's a big jump.
That's big jumps.
This sensor that's on this board is accurate to within 0.3 degrees Celsius out of the box, and has a fidelity of hundredths of a degree Celsius.
So if you're going to graph it out, it's going to be a lot smoother of a graph.
Super smooth curve. You can see trends before they actually develop.
Yeah, there you go.
And yes. And I've seen very successful results in some early testing. We sold 400 of our, I call them beta units. We sold 400 Wi-Fi based beta units, and they all did fantastically well. So this is the PoE. This was our first official retail product. And Vince, Circuit Rewind says, confirmed to work with CheckMK. Yes. I have more news around the software coming shortly, by the way. So, not quite ready to announce that in full, but those who know me and know where I stand on a lot of things, you can probably guess the announcement, but I have some news on the software. We're just waiting to work out a couple details. So,
how's the beer treating you?
This is fantastic.
Okay. I have to have a small, because I've had this as half done with this, because it's got that weird Rawaka a hop in it. And I
by the way, the wonderful thing about bombers,
you can refill.
You can refill.
You can refill halfway through. Yeah. I still have a little bit.
Look, I have a fresh pint.
This one, I don't know. This has got a weird floral. This is not a citrusy forward hop. This is a very floral forward hop. More like drinking hopped potpourri than a citrus bomb.
Oh, so okay.
Not terrible, but not as good as the previous one I had.
Hopped potpourri.
Kind of like that, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Jeff wants to know, is nothing on the enterprise level even close to your product? Not really. That's the weird thing. I think the closest thing that competes with where I'm aiming is probably NetAlarm products, which start at like $500 for the controller units, and then it's $100 per sensor, and then there's licensing on top of it. Whereas these are going to be sub $100. And provide some of the most accurate results out of a purpose-built product that are out there, if not the most accurate. So yeah, I'm very excited about this product. And this is product number 1 of what we hope will be a full lineup of gear, aimed both at SMB and home lab. That's kind of where we're starting. We're starting in the very affordable realm, and then we're hoping to eventually grow into the enterprise rack space as well. A lot of our business plan is forming around the idea of attacking both markets at the same time, and being a viable and competitive option in both markets. And what does that entail? I mean, they're 2 very different markets. Well, the enterprise market currently sits at like $500 for a controller and then $100 a sensor. Well, if I can come in and I can offer you a better feature set for the same price, maybe slightly more, maybe slightly less, but a very compelling feature set, and no license terms, no anything like that, hell, if I can undercut you by 20% and come in with competitive terms, then and a better quality product, then yes, I win. And it's just a matter of getting them out there. But I want to serve both markets, and I think we're developing a feature set and a full product stack that will.
Yeah.
And can I just say, this is weird.
Is it now?
It is so weird. Like,
that you're actually developing real PCBs and circuit boards, and an actual physical
like it's in my hand, and I know this is just a 3D print of a mock-up, but it's in my hand right now. I shipped 400 things that I created, I helped create, in the last couple of months, and now we're talking about potentially making and selling thousands of these. This is weird.
I mean, it's an adjustment for sure, but it's different than working for somebody else.
It's like totally
making your own, right? Yeah, it's making your own stuff.
Yeah,
forging your own way.
So, yeah. Hey, SPX Labs finally made it to stream again. It's been so long. What's up, everyone? Hello, welcome back. It has been a while since I've seen you. Welcome back. Door slamming can be detected and used for crude elevation reading using pressure as your figure go ahead above sea level. We have the sensor we're using is a tri-mode: temperature, humidity, and pressure. It is relative pressure, relative humidity based on the temperature reading. But it has proven itself to be fairly accurate. You can do things like detect a door opening in a data center, as well as a rack door opening in the rack that you're enclosed in. We can detect those pressure differences.
Wasn't that the plot line? One of the plot lines to Sneakers, the movie Sneakers?
Yeah,
because they were trying to sneak into a room and they had to they had all these temperature sensors in there. So if you raised the temperature really hot, they wouldn't know if someone walked in because it was the same temperature as the human body, so that they can walk in and steal stuff.
Yeah. The things that you can do with this sensor are pretty cool, and we're using that. We're really happy with this sensor as far as our first product goes. But this is not going to be the only sensor we use. This is not going to be the only sensor we utilize and develop around moving forward. I think I've talked about this a lot. Intrusion alarms are very high on my list for need to happen. Someone opened a server rack door. That needs to trigger an alarm. So I can't necessarily say that we're trying to hit a price point with this first version that is profitable enough for us so we can develop the versions that we really want to develop and then further drive down costs. Yeah. You got to start somewhere, and I have to be profitable right off the bat because I don't have investors behind me. This is literally me. This is me sinking my money into this product.
Right.
I I don't want to tell you how much money I've sunk into this product, but it's a lot. And I don't have 3 years to develop a business plan. The business plan has to form with every product that I manufacture. And it has to be viable. And as we develop more business plans, we can drive existing products down. And so that's overall my business plan, is once we start developing the enterprise stack, maybe this goes to $70. Maybe we have enough volume where we can drive down the cost of this, from, let's say, $90 to $70 or $110 to $85 or whatever the price difference may be.
Wouldn't it be amazing that you got like these giant enterprise places, like these are cheap enough, we can put them on every server rack we have in our giant farm?
That's kind of the idea.
And it was like, that's great. It's like a little tiny, it's like popcorn money for them. Just throw it on there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got like thousands upon thousands of orders for it.
Yeah. And that's kind of the idea, is making these versions cheap enough that you'd be stupid not to monitor this if you have one rack somewhere and you need that info. And so plug it in, it'll work. And then we're also developing products that are more expansive thinking. And so let's say you need a rack with 6 different sensors in it, or 8 different sensors, or 12 sensors. And so you want front of rack and rear of rack high and low temperature sensors. Cool. Well, that's 4 sensor ports right there. Yeah. Let's do a rack that'll do that. We'll also do an intrusion sensor front and rear for the 2 doors that are on the rack. So that's 2 more ports. Plus we're going to add, whatever else we would add. We have lots of ideas for different sensor types that would make sense in those deployments. And the idea is that it'll be a la carte. You can add and remove whatever sensors that you want via different probes and cables, and design the system as you need. That's the idea for the enterprise model. I've thought about naming the different models after different Star Trek ships, with the enterprise model obviously being Enterprise.
Well, yeah, it's Enterprise on Enterprise, right?
Right, and so the home lab, do I name it Defiant? Do I name it Voyager?
Because it's a little tiny guy? Yeah. No, I think Voyager would be more mid-range. Defiant would be little.
Because Voyager's Intrepid class. So that'd be your like remote 4-sensor unit. Yeah. But I've totally thought about using Star Trek ships as names of my product line. Water detection sensor, water intrusion sensor. Yeah, those are all high on our list to start developing. But
you need a horny sensor to make sure Austin Powers isn't getting into your server rack.
But I talked earlier about Jet KVM. So is it on my desk right here? It might be on my desk. Hold on. Where'd the Jet go? Anyway, if you watched my Jet KVM video earlier today, I talked a little bit about this, where I really like the design philosophy behind Jet KVM, because they took a single problem and they solved it extraordinarily well. And they only included the features that they needed, not every single feature top to bottom. And so that's product number 1 for us. What is the problem? We need to record accurate temperature sensor in a rack mount unit. That's what this unit does. It does nothing else. I'm making smart equipment dumb, because all this will do is go, it's 22 degrees.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't want it to do anything else, but I want it to accurately say whether or not it's 22 degrees.
Right. And at a frequency that you need.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And be accurate and whatever else. Once we develop that, and once we've solved that problem, we will start solving other problems one at a time, and develop a product stack to do that.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere. And like I said, this device needs to be profitable right off the bat. So this device is going to be profitable right off the bat.
Somebody posted a ship on the Talking Heads Discord that you definitely don't want to name your product after.
I saw that one earlier this week.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah, speaking of Austin Powers, right?
What is it, Sergeant? couple super chats. Cosworth sends over $5. Thank you again, Cosworth.
Yeah, cause.
Calling you out, Jeff. I like to speak for your community now. Always impressed, but never surprised at what you do for being a maker, even if X79 jank. One of the things I always pat myself on the back about, one of the things that I know that I'm good at, is getting the absolute best out of whatever's available. But also knowing where your floor is at. Also knowing if something isn't possible with the equipment that you have on hand. And, you know, like, there's a fine line between shoestring budget and successful budget company. There's a very fine line.
Very fine line, yeah.
And a lot of it is down to implementation. And knowing when you can cut corners and when you cannot. And so sometimes I cut corners. Sometimes I'm more than happy to spend the money because I know the money will be well used or implemented properly.
Right.
And you have to know where those differences are. Patrick sends over $3. Says fist bump. Thank you very much. Name it after a bird of prey. What was the one with the whales? Bird of prey.
The name of the ship?
Yeah.
Or
because they renamed the bird of prey.
I don't remember. Voyage Home.
HMS Bounty.
The HMS Bounty. Oh, because it was the HMS Bounty. They did the famous HMS Bounty. Yeah.
Yes.
They did the Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep. In reference to the famous seagoing vessel of the same name, which was taken over by mutineers in the 18th century. The vessel's new name was painted on the hull in large orange letters, literally spray painted on the side, which is amazing.
They took it over from Captain Cook, I think. The original HMS Bounty.
Yeah. So, anyway, we have one more story to get to, and this one is just for me. I don't care if anyone else cares. But I care about this one.
Okay.
So, Steve, did you ever get into Streets of Rogue?
No, I did not, but I have seen it.
You are dead to me.
I have seen it. I was interested in it. I actually just before this story dropped, I was looking in my Steam library to see if I had the first one. I do not, which I'm like, okay.
I have it on GOG.
Okay. Well, you can give me the. I might have it on GOG too. Actually,
check on GOG.
All right, you can go look
because it dropped on quite a few bundles on GOG.
Yeah, I had that, and then it might have been like a free Epic thing too.
Anyway, Streets of Rogue is a phenomenal roguelike permadeath game. The premise of which is you are a slum dweller in a small city or in a small region, and you are trying to overthrow the government. And the story is absurd because the currency that everyone uses now is chicken nuggets. And you get chicken nuggets as reward for performing certain missions. And but you select your character type, and you can buff your character type based on advancements that you make within the game, experience that you gain. You can start with different loadouts and customize your character to, start with some specialer items and things like that. And each character class will have special missions within their overall objective of overthrowing the government. So things you have to do on each floor. There's 15 floors, and you have to go from the slums to the city streets to the country,
the upper echelons of corporate,
to the upper crust society, and then finally to the government stronghold. And it's great because it's one of those games that is so open-ended and so absurdly funny that you could just play the hell out of it for hours. And it's also multiplayer. You can bring your friends into a roguelike game.
Right.
And you and 4 players can hit the streets and tag team things based on both of your characters', unique abilities and whatnot.
Right.
And it was just a hell of a lot of fun. Well, the thing is, it was a single developer. One guy wrote the whole game.
There you go.
And he announced early this year that he was making a sequel, Streets of Rogue 2.
Yeah.
However, this one was not going to be strictly a roguelike game. This was going to be a persistent open world game. But still self-hosted, still, macro scale.
And like Terraria or something like that, but Streets of Rogue style,
Yeah. But still procedurally generated.
Right.
So infinite replayability and infinite map layouts and things like that. A lot of the same character classes, but new character classes as well, new abilities, and while the root goal is still kind of the same, it is take over the city and take over the region. There's a mayor and a president now. You also don't have to play the game that way. You can turn it into literally a farming simulator if you want. Like, you could just play Stardew Valley with it if you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's also going to be multiplayer. It's going to be up to 4-player multiplayer. I don't know if they're going to have persistent open worlds or simply like Stardew where you all join the same game at the same time. But self-hosted, which is fantastic. All my homies love self-hosted worlds. And it was supposed to be out yesterday. And it had to be delayed.
Didn't have to. Yeah. Got delayed.
I am so disappointed because I wanted to try out the multiplayer at PDX LAN. I wanted to try that out in a couple of weeks.
It's still 2 weeks away?
Still 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away?
It sounds like this has been delayed until late Q4.
All right.
So it has been delayed, but there is a demo out now. So you can go download the demo for free.
The demo was out for the Next Fest. It was the Next Fest, Steam Next Fest, yeah.
Yes. So it came out, I believe, on the 18th. So it dropped a week before the game was supposed to come out, but with the bad news that the game was supposed to come out and didn't. But I love Matt Dabrowski, for those who don't know who this is. So first off, why the delays? Well, too long didn't read. Big open-ended game plus solo programmer equals unpredictable timeline. Who could have seen that? Yes,
exactly. Yeah, who could have seen that? Ambitious.
Yes.
Dude, I'm completely familiar with that type of thing. I feel like I can do it. No, you can't.
No, the thing I like is he's been doing developer logs for the last several months, and basically showing off some of the things that he's doing for the game development, showing off how he's doing procedural generation, showing off how he's developing buildings and things like that, because a lot of this is curated content but procedurally generated as far as its placement goes.
Cool.
And so he will create buildings that make sense. And then how to place those buildings within a larger structure, that's up to the procedural generation. And he explains how he goes through all of that.
That's super cool.
And yeah, what it does is it gives you a wide or a large amount of replayability, because even if you recognize a building layout, that doesn't necessarily where that building's at or who's going to be populating it or where the different rooms, what the different rooms entailed are. But there's so much more being added to this game as far as the open world aspect of it, because you can buy property, you can build a house, you can farm, you can raise resources.
This is really going to be the do it all everything type of a game. Yeah,
really kind of is
lo-fi, but do it that way. Yeah,
I've been jamming on it for the last couple of days, and well, I've already beat the main objective one time, which is kill the mayor. Or take over the mayor, or you have to become the mayor.
Okay.
through one way or another, and I've done it
Right.
all 3 ways now. I have
Force election and subterfuge or something like that.
Yeah. You can be the elected mayor, you can kill the mayor, or you can threaten the mayor to drop out.
Yeah.
And I have now done all 3. The way I achieved the 3rd one was epic. Because I had snuck into the 2nd floor of the mayor's mansion, and the mayor was asleep, because that's when you sneak into places, is when everyone's asleep and when security is lax. And I made it by the security cameras and opened his door and everything else. And I'm like, I'm just gonna try to kill him. And so I took out an axe and I took one swing, and of course my randomly generated mayor was a super character with a star under him, so he is like wicked strong, which is great. Cool. I'm now in a fist fight with a gorilla inside of a closed space. So he takes a couple swings at me, and by the way, when a super character takes a swing at you, he can hit you and knock you through walls. And so he busted me through a couple of walls and whatnot.
Dragon Ball Z style, yeah.
I'm at like 20% health right off the bat, and I'm like, well, this is not going to end well. So I took out like a wooden mallet, and I just took one swing at him. I knocked him through a window and killed him. I knocked him through a window, and he dropped from the 2nd floor.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. So, Streets of Rogue 2. If you haven't heard about it, I'm super excited for this game. This is not sponsored. This is nothing. I don't know Matt. I don't give 2 craps about his publisher. But I've been following Streets of Rogue for like 7 years or something like that. Like it's an older game. And as soon as I heard that there was a new one coming out, I was super excited, because I loved the first Streets of Rogue. And I was hoping to introduce everyone to it at PDX LAN, and we can get a bunch of people playing it. But unfortunately, the demo is out now, and you can do local co-op.
Right.
But there's no online co-op. And so
well, local co-op could do. We can do local co-op PDX LAN.
We might.
You might be able to.
Yeah. So I think we're going to have to do that. I think we might try to get 4 players.
We'll definitely do that. We finished last time at PDX LAN, me and you, we finished Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
That's right.
Now we can do
we went beginning to end Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and we did, and we meandered too. Like we got into the woods with some of the side quests. So that was legit like a 40-hour playthrough.
It was a long playtime.
Yeah. What's the new hotness right now?
I don't know. I mean, well, that was kind of like the next story I wanted to talk about, because Streets of Rogue 2 was part of the Steam Next Fest.
Yeah.
And so the Next Fest, it just finished. It just finished, like, I think the end of last week. And what they were talking about, or what were the most played demos? What were the most things that everybody wanted to try? And surprisingly, a resurgence of Delta Force is number 1. I don't know if you remember Delta Force.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's coming back as a tactical, free-to-play first-person shooter. Which, I mean, I didn't try it. I didn't even know it was coming back, to be quite honest.
I don't hate this.
No, I don't hate it either. I mean, I wouldn't mind checking it out myself.
Yeah.
But when I scroll down through the rest of the things, there's not too many things I recognize. I mean, some of it looks interesting.
Hey, there's one we recognize.
Yes, Streets of Rogue 2 is definitely
like 8th on the list. Yes, it is. That's pretty high praise.
Sand above that was one of them that I was kind of looking at too, which is kind of an open world. You make this giant base on a spider that crawls across the desert.
Oh gosh,
looks pretty cool.
What's that book?
Oh yeah, they made a movie out of it too.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to that. Yeah,
with Hugo Weaving. Called. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, this is an interesting article. This is probably going to be what is the next big thing somewhere on this list, because this is what everyone was playing the demos of.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, that's probably it.
Oh gosh, what is that movie? That's going to drive me nuts now.
Oh, I know. Spider City movie.
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines. It was a good movie. It's a really good movie.
I like the effects. I don't know if I think they try to cram too much into this because it was based off of a book.
Yes.
And I think that they crammed too much into the first movie that it kind of lost a lot in translation because I never read the book.
Yeah,
and I felt like it felt rushed. But it was cool. I like the idea.
I thought, look, you're never going to match a book.
No. You can get close. I mean, like,
you're never going
Peter
to...
Jackson's Lord of the Rings is pretty good.
No. I think you even misunderstood my wording.
Oh, okay.
You can never match a book.
Right.
Because how long would it take you to read the novelization of Mortal Engines?
Right.
Versus, you can spend an hour in a book on a single scene.
Yeah.
Because
the descriptions and everything. The setting up of the world.
The musk, she embraced him in
You can be very overly
the musky fragrance reminded her of better times and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You can dive deep into the psyche of a character.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't portray that on film.
In what takes 3 seconds in a film, because that's the amount of time you have to progress the story.
Yeah.
And so you'll never match it. But what I will say for Mortal Engines is, I thought they did a phenomenal job of building that world in such a way, kind of like The Matrix, kind of like Blade Runner. Kind of like, a lot of these, classic sci-fi
type stuff. Yeah.
Where they just dump you into the world and they don't hold your hand explaining why things are the way. John Wick.
Yeah.
Why things are the way they are.
Yeah. I like that. I like very, very minimal exposition.
Yeah.
Just
you get it through
observing.
Context clues.
You get, yeah. Exactly.
And so, what's the reward for these assassins? Well, you get these gold coins. Well, okay. Well, what's a gold coin worth? Well, it's worth 1 drink at the bar, or it's worth a cleanup crew if you need it. And and it's like, that's just the currency that they use. And you learn that, when John Wick breaks open his safe, he's got a stack of like 300 gold coins. Oh, this dude's good.
Something went down. Yeah, he went down. Yeah. It explains the world without holding your hand and going, well, back in 1922 when the organization started. Right. Yeah. This whole scrolling of text. I mean, like Star Wars did that at the beginning. There was some exposition at the beginning, but
there kind of was, but there is such an art form to inserting 30 years of story in a single sentence and moving on.
Right.
If you think about some of the original dialogue within A New Hope, you're talking about the battle of the rebellion against the Empire? Yeah, the thing that's been happening for 60 years? No one in the universe would explain it like that. But for movie 1, introducing the whole struggle, if you say that, you're talking about the rebellion against the Empire. Yeah. Oh, there's a civil war going on. There's a battle of 2 intergalactic powers. Suddenly, I don't have all of the story, but I have enough of the story to hear your story.
A reference. You have a kind of frame of reference, yeah.
Right. And as you build your story and as you build your set and your universe and everything, you can expand on that if you want.
Right.
But you don't even necessarily have to, because we already have the context clues needed to tell the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah.
And I thought Mortal Engines did that very well.
No, I thought it did too. I really hate when they have like some kind of character that just expounds on every like a third of the way of the movie when the hero finally gets to a certain point, and then there's like this mystical figure that just like spills everything out, the whole exposition of everything, and just explains everything. It's like, oh god, this is boring. Like this is you just lost all mystery and thought process to what was going on in the movie. I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. All right. Just remembered I'm right between Steve and Jeff at PDX Land. Yeah, Skull.
Oh, is he?
Skull is at PDX Land, and he's sitting between you and me.
Oh, is he?
Yes,
All right.
he is.
Actually, we have to talk about this because I know we haven't really finalized plans. What we got to. Yakto's been talking to me.
Yes.
We got to finalize plans so I can get this all set up and we can go.
Also, you got a case for me, and I promised you a
I do.
motherboard, and I haven't delivered a motherboard yet. So
Okay. This week I'll come down.
Sure.
I'll come down sometime this week.
Sure.
And then we'll work something out.
Sweet. Yeah,
right.
Because I sent you like a list of parts. Did you buy the parts that I sent you?
I bought some of them, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I should have everything else. So if you just want to show up with what you have, we should be able to piece the rest of it together.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
We'll get you your land rig built.
All right, good. Because I don't like hauling my giant. I mean, my home rig is great, but it's huge.
Yeah.
And I don't want to haul it anymore.
Yeah. Steve saw my Fractal Design Terra, and he also said, you know what? I should come to more LAN parties. And so after the last LAN party goes, how many Terras did you say you had?
Yeah, I know, exactly. Dude, hauling that. I have an old, full ATX case. It's a full ATX case. And it's a great rig. And
you're not properly describing this. He has one of the old Stormtrooper Antec cases.
Yes, it's very cool. I love it. I don't want to get rid of it because I have all my components coordinated with this. My headset, my mouse, my it's great.
Yes. But
for hauling this all out to a LAN party, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I've got my rig pretty well condensed. I've got my Terra gaming machine, which I still daily drive here.
I want to get that Terra going, because that thing's great.
Yeah. But then I also travel with a 34-inch and a 27-inch monitor on a vertical stand, and that's the greatest freaking thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a good setup.
So I will be returning with that setup. I did rock my 43-inch panel a couple of LANs ago, and that was pretty fun. But I kind of like having Star Trek playing above me.
Yes,
like that's
you always have something going on above you.
It's become kind of my thing. Like
either football or Lower Decks.
It's usually
or
football.
Futurama.
Yeah. It's either football or basketball because you got April basketball and you got November football, and so there's something going on.
Something's going on. Yeah.
And in between it's Lower Decks or last time it was DS9. I had a bunch of DS9 going.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did.
So yeah. But I will not only be bringing my Terra to PDX LAN, I will be bringing an even sleeker, even smaller, and dare I say almost as powerful rig.
Really? Well, let me just borrow your old Terra. I don't have to build the whole thing.
I don't know if I want to announce it yet. I'm not going to announce it.
You don't have to.
I'm not going to announce it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun, holy crap, fast rig. Like, if you thought my Xbox rig was small, not even close.
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
Not even close. Yeah. But the Stormtrooper has a handle. It's meant for portability. Tell him how portable your case was, Steve.
No. It doesn't have a handle on it. I used an old school LAN case. It was a Case Ace.
Yes.
What it was called. If you look up Case Ace, there were like these latex straps that you would wrap around your case that had pockets on the side.
Nylon, not latex.
No, you're right. Nylon. You're right. Nylon.
Yeah.
They were nylon. And so you strapped it together, and they had pockets on the side so you could put your keyboard, your mouse, your LAN cables. You could strap them together. You had Velcro straps on the side. They just pick it up and just carry it with you. And honestly, it's a pretty cool design for the time it was, but it's stretching the limits.
Yeah.
It really is stretching the limits of how big that case is. So
yeah,
I want something much smaller. I don't want to have to use it.
I still have God, what is the name of that company even? I went to QuakeCon in 2000. Was that 19? 18.
Uh-huh.
Had to have been 18. 2018. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. It was gear grip. Gear grip. It was gear grip. The case ace.
Okay.
Gear
Yeah.
grip.
No. Let me. It was literally the first video I filmed in my second studio. Crazy Gear.
Crazy Gear.
GTR1. Here, I'll drop a link to this in the chat. They make a backpack that houses an ATX case and a 27-inch monitor. I still have this. It's the stupidest thing ever. It worked. It worked like really, really well.
Oh yeah.
But if you ever,
that's pretty close to it. Yeah.
Have you ever loaded up an ATX case and a monitor and your keyboard and all your
put it on your back, dude? It's like you're going to battle, dude. It's like
let alone like people have seen my keyboard. My keyboard is monoblock aluminum. Like my keyboard is like 12 pounds by itself. Yeah, I put a Threadripper inside an Inwin 303 inside that box.
Yeah.
Or inside that case to review it. Holy crap. I still have it. It's out in my garage. I still have that.
There you go. It's still there.
Yeah.
Should bring it and auction it off at the next PDX LAN.
I thought about just bringing some stuff to give away.
Just give away. Everybody gets. Here you go. Some old school stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got keyboards. I've got various mice. I might give away a couple trackballs. That might be fun.
There you go. That'd be fun. Yeah.
I've got a couple Qualcomm mice new in box that I might give away.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think I might query Qualcomm and see if that's kosher.
Yeah. Probably should be. I mean, it's been long enough.
Yeah. So anyway, it is 20 minutes past the hour.
Oh my gosh. It's gone by fast.
Final thoughts on this. I really didn't talk about the beer. I think I need to talk about the beer.
Sure.
This is way more vanilla forward than Abyss. So Deschutes makes the Abyss Imperial Stout. It's an annual November release by Deschutes. And it is a dark, deep.
It's very deep.
Roasty.
There's a reason why they call it the Abyss.
All of those expletives. Yeah. It is dark. Bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
This is significantly lighter than that. Although
it's more sweeter and vanilla-y, yeah.
It is still dark. like if the Abyss was a 9.9, this is an 8.2 going, that's way lighter.
Yeah.
That's,
right.
If you're checking oil viscosity,
it's a fresh oil change besides like a 100,000 mile change or something.
Right.
50,000 mile change.
Yeah, the Abysses, you've got some piston burn going on. This one's like, oh, that's a fresh oil change.
Yeah, it's a fresh oil change.
That's a focus after only 8,000 miles.
Yeah.
It is more vanilla forward and it's a little sweeter than Abyss is. But man, are there some very familiar notes there.
I have to go pick one up. I mean, if I come down there, we'll go swap some parts, and then I'll have to go hit the Costco up and go pick some up. Definitely.
It's lighter simply on the attack.
Yeah.
Simply so when you put it in your mouth, you don't immediately go, what is that
so
nonsense?
So dark, yeah.
And then it just shifts to dark.
Man.
It has the same coffee. It has the same super dark cacao.
Yeah.
Like at the end, you feel like you're chewing on coffee grounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's dark. It's good. Skull asked me earlier, is it fantastic or is it fantastic for a $10 bomber?
It's fantastic for a $10 bomber. It's fantastic.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Even the fact that it's a $10 bottle is just icing on the cake.
Yes. Yeah. The fact that this is $10 is otherworldly.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic beer.
I've had a couple beers like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that this is $10 is otherworldly.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic beer. I've had a couple beers like that. Yeah. Yeah. This is a fantastic beer. This is a fantastic beer. Yeah. 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 Craft Computing Trackball Unreal Tournament 2004 match.
Oh.
You know, I game on this. You know, I game on this.
I don't know. If we do Unreal Tournament again, Vince is going to be the guy to beat.
Yeah.
He was like creaming us last time.
I didn't get into the Unreal last time. I'm going to come in because the last like 3 or 4 PDX lands I've gone to, I've been like, I want to play this game, and I've played like my subset of games. I'm going to come in and go, what do you guys plan? That's my plan for this time.
There we go. That'll be fun.
So we doing UT 2004? Let's go UT 2004.
Let's do it. Yeah.
You guys, you know, Unreal Tournament? Sweet. Yeah, let's.
Yeah, it was Fire Duck. It was Instagib mode that we were doing. It was a lot of fun.
And so I want to do a lot more. I'm in the thick of it. Kind of gameplay this year because I'll be honest. The last couple, I'm trying to catch up on games that I haven't had time to play recently,
right.
And I haven't had any of those games come out recently. And I'm going, I don't think there's anything hanging out there like Tiny Tina's that it's like, I need a partner so I could dive through this and really get the experience and you know, or Baldur's Gate or whatever else.
Right.
Like that's not there this time. I'm just going, what's the new hotness? Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's my thought going in.
All right.
Instagib CTF.
Yeah. All the best. All the best.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This has been episode 356 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Head on over to Costco, and if you see one of the vintage ales, grab it. This is a fantastic beer, let alone for $10. Holy crap.
Sure.
Join us on the Patreon. Get access to the exclusive Discord server. Keep the conversation going with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and a whole bunch of other names you'd probably recognize. You can ping them all here on my Discord server.
That's right.
It's where all the cool YouTubers hang out. But yeah, Steve, anything else good of the order?
No, I have to go pee.
Well, I will let you go then. So anyway, thanks you all so much for watching. And as always, we will see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.